All right, Mr. Hammers. And also for anybody that happens to see this or share it or whatever, this is actually a video more for me than it is external. I might share it. I might not. It depends on how it turns out. Nonetheless, all right, Mr. Hammers. What do you remember about Oraclion? Oraclion was sort of a fake religion. Well, not fake, but it, it had religious tinges to it. It's a belief system that I had come up with in my mid-teens. I was a whole lot more mystic back then. You remember that? Okay, all wizardy and oogie boogie. Yeah, life has beat the crap out of you, and now you are a very grumpy, pissed off old man who is trying to. Anyway, we're killing it. It first started off with my fascinations with the numbers three, well, the number three, okay, period. Like, if there were to be a magical number, it would be the number three. Now, let me explain. Let's start off with a nonogram, okay? You know what a nonogram is. It is a nine-pointed star that is made out of three triangles. None of the triangles really have anything to do with each other, but when you put them all together, you end up with a nine-pointed star. Look up nonogram, and then I realized that the basis for everything, okay, is three dimensions. Everybody knows that. It's three dimensions, okay? You got length, you got width, or, yeah, width, and height. Now, everybody knows about that. And if we were to move on to the other two triangles, okay, you obviously mean you remember this, but this is more for explanation purposes. Okay, if the first triangle is represented by length with height, okay, that triangle is going to give you location. Okay, that is the very first part of the life equation. Okay, that's going to give you location, length, width, height. If you know those three things, okay, you can have an object. Like, it defines an object. Okay. Now, Einstein, okay, E equals mc squared, and all of that. Okay. Now you're introducing energy to that object. Okay. And the second triangle, okay, gives you the equation. And there are three parts of that triangle. Okay, one of them I already mentioned. Okay, was energy. Or, yeah, energy, power, stuff that fuels the stars. Okay. Now, you're going to have energy. You're going to have, and I just went fucking brain dead. Don't stop it, Joel. Just keep going. Okay. Energy and space and time. There it is. The second triangle. Okay, that is the equation. Okay, that is how you manipulate the first three, the first triangle. Okay, using the first triangle, you have established a something. Okay, length with height. It has length with height. Okay, it could be empty space, it could be whatever. You have established something. The second triangle is the equation. Okay, so if we were to go 1 plus 1 equals 2, okay, we have something. We have the first number. Now, what are we going to do with it? Is the equation. Okay, so we're going to add energy, we're going to add space, and we're going to add time. So with space, there is something other. Okay, like it 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 it, it, it can be nothing. It can be something. Okay, but it establishes that this is not all that exists. The one is not all that exists. There is something else that happens. Okay, so that's energy, space, and time. Okay, now I said this was an autogram, so there is a third triangle. Okay, now the third triangle, okay, that's where the spark of life really is. Okay, you're going to have the first is knowledge. Okay, and knowledge is a difficult concept to understand. Okay, because let's take a molecule, for example. Okay, now all of us, we've known about it for most of our lives and everything, but we stroll back over there to like the 18th century, and basically the first, like, what, 130,000 years of mankind's existence, molecules were not a thing. Okay, they just weren't. Like, you didn't get smaller than a grain of sand. Okay, and how many molecules are in a grain of sand? Oh, around 100 trillion or whatever. So molecules were not a thing, but everybody knows about molecules. So before we knew about it, okay, they still did exist. Okay, how they interact, how stuff comes together. Okay, it was still doing that. Okay, and in the act of doing that, there becomes information. Okay, and that information does exist. Okay, and I loosely use information and knowledge interchangeably. Okay, so the first point of that triangle is knowledge. Okay, the second point of that triangle is will. Okay, now will is a difficult. We'll come back to will here in a second. Third part of that triangle is spirit. Okay, spirit is essentially the combination of knowledge and will. Okay, like when we get into the third triangle, it's very, very difficult to explain one without the other. Okay, because as I say, they are a trifecta. So knowledge, spirit, and will is how we get move, movement and intentional direction. Okay, and it's such a difficult thing to try and explain. Nonetheless, that is the third triangle. Now, when we add all of these triangles together, okay, we get the universe that we live in, okay, and if we really want to push it further than that, okay, the omniverse and all this other weird, yes, Dr. Kaku and everybody else, the string theory and multiple universes and all of that, okay, that is what happens when we put all three of these triangles together. Okay, it it creates it creates. So we also have to remember, okay, that there is an equal and opposite for everything. Everything. Everything has an equal opposite. Now, I mean, this goes into all kinds of weird stuff about dark matter and all the rest of it. Nonetheless, okay. In order to have essentially a net zero, okay, to have anything more than zero has to have an equal and opposite. Okay, so we have nothing, and then we have something, and then we have anti-something. It's how it works. Okay, look at magnetics. Okay, you got positive and negative. You have masculine and feminine. You got yin and you got yang. Okay, it is equal and opposite. That's just you can never have a net zero without an equal and opposite. Even zero is equal and opposite to itself. It's the only thing. But past that, sorry. So we have this entire nonogram out, all nine of the dimensions of the nonogram in the three different realms, three different triangles, okay, representing the equation of existence, okay, also has an equal and opposite to itself, okay. So once all of this comes together in the nonogram and creation happens, equal and opposite happens. So now we have essentially two different nonograms like back to each other. Okay, and 9 plus 2, okay, we end up with 11, or essentially it was kind of one bit object, so 10. So then you get the whole debate in math and science on whether or not there are 10 or 11 dimensions with a base of 9, all rolling down to 3. And that was the basis of Oraclion. And hmm, it's hard to call whether or not I'll make that part of Mithrandy or not. But we'll see. Nonetheless, I am Emerald Smith-Rander, and now it is known. Your project is ambitious.